name is Brad. This is my channel, Animate Orange, and this is not the usual 3D metal model news update. I do not have anything this week. I apologize. Um, I have tried to keep up, but as I get closer and closer to the actual closing date on my house, I am more panicked and worried about actually packing and getting prepared and planning and yeah. But I thought at least, and I didn't announce that there was a live video, but this will eventually get recorded and go to where anybody can see it. So I'm talking to nobody right now, but eventually this will be replayable and people can actually see it. And I'm just giving an update of who, what, where, and why, but everything what's going on. I am in my studio, or what is left of it, because my background is all packed up. Let me get up and move around. Don't know if I can flip this. Yeah, I can. Flip this while I'm still live. So I'm going to stand back over here where my camera is normally at and show you that, yeah, we've got boxes. Turn my shelves sideways, and I'm going to move in a little closer here. And what you never get to see is this buffet cabinet that I picked up for dirt cheap at a thrift store recently. Well, not recently, it's been a couple of years, but after my last move. And these shelves that are broken down and nothing on it sit on top of that. You've seen the behind the scenes stuff on my Patreon. You might know a bit about that. But yeah, I've been packing. I think I showed a picture or video of all these. These are the models. Today I'm actually breaking down my studio table, which is here. The camera usually sits either in front or on that. Tripod and all. Camera's buried over here, extended, set up for me actually talking, which would sit in front of the table, and I would sit in my chair. When I'm building, it sits on the table, pointed down, and this is where I build it. And there's usually all kinds of tools and whatnot, but that's all packed up. I see somebody's joined me. What do we got here? I don't know, but I'm packing, and I haven't had time to put anything together. If you've ever wondered where all of my videos are, hi Emmanuel, welcome to this impromptu live video, which is basically me giving an update that will eventually be viewable to everybody later. So I am in the middle of packing and thought I would take a break. And I don't really have any news this week as far as the 3D metal model world, because I just haven't had time to keep up. My closing date is coming and I'm panicking. And was in the process of showing my hard drive that has everything backed up, or at least a copy of all of my videos, or at least 98% of my videos. Hey, Karen. Karen's oh, it's fading away. Went away. Hello, people who have just joined. Random impromptu what's going on video. Switching this back around. I got started too quickly and didn't give anybody a chance to join. Just doing, my hands are shaky and I apologize. They've been shaky ever since my transplant. The medicine, the tacker does that to me. And I never really had that steady hands to begin with, which was part of the challenge of building the models that I build. When I was younger, built plastic models, and I used to work really hard to paint the detail on the engines and the chrome and the names on the side of the bodies, and just I struggled to try and paint wiper blades and just the detailed parts. I often didn't get it right, but I tried, and it was part of the challenge of doing that, was even to overcome unsteady hands that made it fun. And here, years later, I'm actually building little metal models that, again, I have even more trouble with steady hands now that I've had a transplant and I'm on anti-rejection meds, but I keep going because why not? I've enjoyed it, except for recently where I've been busy packing. Yeah, there's been a lot going on outside of models for me. Friday night into Saturday morning was my last day working in housekeeping at the local hospital, a job that I started a little over a year ago. Basically, my first full-time job since my heart transplant, and one of the reasons I haven't had as much time to build and make videos. For me, this is a huge achievement because, for those of you who don't know, while I was making these 3D metal model videos, that was me giving myself something to do, having a hobby, sharing it with others, basically staying busy and feeling productive while I had heart failure. Couldn't work for a living, couldn't do much. The times that I had the energy and time, I had lots of time outside of doctor's appointments. I would make videos and I would build models and I would share my hobby. And eventually my heart got to the point where I needed a transplant. And even after that, I still was on disability as I recovered. My kidneys failed, continued to be on disability. Beginning of the pandemic, well, even before the pandemic, I did part-time as a crossing guard to try and continue to stay active. So I did not want to just sit around the house all the time and not do anything. So the videos that I make and have been making for years started out as me having a hobby, trying to be productive and trying to be just like feeling like a part of something. So I made my own something and eventually slowly got back into the workforce. To a little over a year ago, I went full-time at the hospital. Last night, while in housekeeping, I moved up 2-floor projects, which is also part of housekeeping. Last night was my last night in that department because I'm moving over to central sterile processing. And I believe that to be a step up. There's more opportunity in central sterile. There'll be hands-on experience, hands-on training. I'll have to do a lot of studying and eventually get certification. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's certification to be central sterile processing, and hopefully build on that. And for somebody that had been on disability for something like 15 years because of heart problems, 18 years of heart failure, continued to try and work, and that didn't go. 3 years of recovery after transplant, to get back in the workforce and be stepping up to some degree, this is huge for me personally. On top of that, I've mentioned that I'm buying a house, which is a first for me. And all of this is happening at the same time. I've applied for a different position. I got an interview. I got approved, all while getting approved for a mortgage, shopping for houses, finding a house surprisingly quick, and making an offer while at the same time transferring to a different apartment. I have had a lot going on. Monday will be my first day in my new position. I'm going daytime. I'm training. Friday, I got official word that I am clear to close. And if you've never bought a house here, at least here in the States, you don't know what that means. It's basically, you get a pre-approval from a mortgage place. They do a basic rundown of your credit, find out what they would probably offer you as far as how much you can borrow. You use that to shop for houses. You find one, you make an offer, and then you go into this nearly month-long process, if not month-long process, of fine-tuning all the details and actually getting the loan approved. They've got to praise the house. They've got to check stuff out, ask questions, look into your background. There's all kinds of things they'll ask. They wanted to know more about my work history. They wanted to see proof of my checking account. So what I've been spending money on, they had to separately appraise the roof of the house I'm buying to make sure it's going to last, all kinds of stuff. And once everything is in a row and they like what they see and they've gotten all the information they need, they give you what's called a clear to close, which means the loan is approved. You can move forward with actually buying the house. And that's great news. So I haven't talked as much about moving because I just have this whole thing. I don't want to jinx myself. And I've mentioned it. I haven't talked much about it. Friday got the clear to close. The closing date's on the 4th. So I'm expecting everything to go forward from here. I'd already started packing. I didn't really expect anything to go wrong, but I'd worried. So everything's moving forward. I'm accelerating the packing, finally breaking down my studio because I just do not see myself having any time to record anything other than maybe the random live video like I'm doing now. My camera's still out over there, as I shown earlier. My computer desk is still set up, so I can still do some editing, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm jabbing, talking randomly. I will say my laptop, which I also use to do some editing, has failed me. and I got to figure out what's going on there. The keyboard is not working. It did an update. It was doing the login loop with Windows XP. It got past that, but I can't get the keyboard to work. I can't get the mouse pad on the laptop to work, but I can get a separate mouse to work. And I know a fair amount about computers. I can probably fix it. I just have not had the time. So there's a lot going on. And yeah, it's just, this is way more than I anticipated. I wanted to give an update on what's going on with me and the channel. I appreciate everybody that's still been there for support. I am still trying to keep an eye on my comments and respond to comments and questions on the multitude of videos that I already have out. I get the occasional, where do I find this? How do I do that? I do what I can to help those people, and I will continue to do so when it's possible for me to record new content. I absolutely will. But I got to go move all of my garbage that I call stuff to this new place and get set up. And I'm not just moving my stuff and my youngest daughter's stuff, but my girlfriend's stuff and two of my best friends, because they're coming with me, and we're all going to live in this house, this big house I've got together, and they're going to help me basically pay a small rent, which is going to help me pay for the house, and we're all just going to have like this communal living thing, which I've done before. We rented a house before we all did this, so this is nothing new. And the house that I'm buying is bigger than the house that we rented, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and I'm going to be doing the primary portion of the move because, well, my friends and I all had health issues, and that's how we kind of part of how we became friends. Me with the heart transplant am the most capable of all of us, and will be doing a large part of the moving, and I'm fine with that. These people have been there for me in ways that it's hard to explain for me and my kid, and they're part of my family now, and I'm part of theirs, and yeah. So lots going on and lots for me to talk about. But as I was saying before, if you ever wondered if I do, and where do I keep all these videos I recorded, this is the majority of it. Like 95%, I've saved 98% of what I've got. Some of the earlier videos did not get saved because I didn't have the room, but I eventually stumbled on the hard drives, and through a long process saved most of my stuff from about halfway through my first year of building and recording forward. Everything is saved, and I have every so often picked up a new hard drive to keep backups. I don't have duplicates, but I have at least one copy of everything. So there's still the opportunity for one of these to go bad and all of that is lost. But I'm talking, I have the original recordings plus the edited video all saved on all this. So if I can find it, I can go back and find old footage. I think these three are all my books. I think they're 3 terabytes. This is a Toshiba 5 terabytes that I got on sale. More of a fan of, my book is, I can't remember the name. Not Seagate. I can't remember the name. Western Digital. Yes, Western Digital drives. I've had better fortune with Western Digital drives in my life than I have with Toshiba, but Toshiba has gotten better. But yeah, that's the most of it. Not to mention the computer that I have actually has a interesting motherboard with 6 IDE channels. So it actually has like 2 or 3 hard drives, one 2 terabyte drive for the operating system, and a 3 terabyte drive just for videos, which is nearly full itself. So there's close to 3 terabytes of video backed up still on here, plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5. And then over here I have this little older, smaller element that I use to move stuff around, and has a few things on there that I use frequently between my PC and my laptop that is now acting up. But yeah, I set all these hard drives out. I gathered them all together, and I was like, I just kind of want to share that. And the next thing you know, I'm doing a live video. But again, I haven't had time to look to see what in the world is going on as far as new models, and I apologize for that. I do know there was some excitement, I guess. Recently, somebody was asking or saying, why doesn't Metal Earth ever make a Borg cube? And that'd probably be an easy build, which of course sparked CodeWiki, who has actually used scraps to build his own version of a Borg cube out of metal scraps and posted about that. And I'd love to dive into that and talk about that. But if you know who CodeWiki is, Metal Earth Builder, I don't know if he put anything on his site, but he's put stuff on Reddit and I think one of the Facebook Metal Earth communities that he posted on about sharing about how he had built that in the past, and that's pretty cool. I've certainly thought about doing it too. But yeah, I am packing everything up. My soft lights are gone. They're in one of these boxes over here. Ended up knocking one of my soft lights over and breaking a bulb. That happens, unfortunately, because those soft lights are top heavy, and if you're not careful, they will fall over, and it's frequently destructive to the bulb. So I've got to order a new one of those. But I've just packed most everything up, and the next step is to break down this table so that I have a little more room. I've got an old computer down there that I used to do video editing on that. Probably year 2 or 3 of, probably the second year, if that, maybe 2013, 14. I bought that computer down there from a not thrift store, pawn shop. I haven't seen a pawn shop in forever because I live in Northwest Pennsylvania. We don't have those here. Bought it from a pawn shop in Durham, North Carolina when I was staying with my folks after my head injury, when someone broke into my house and beat me about the head. And I bought that and eventually transferred to doing videos on that. But prior to that, I think I was using a Dell laptop and Windows, Microsoft Video, or it was a Microsoft Video thing that was really popular back in the day that you really can't use anymore. But I used to use that. Got this computer, this HP, and eventually transferred everything into Lightworks, which I'm still using. That got old and slow, and I eventually got this thing over here, which is still holding up fairly well with a somewhat recent video card upgrade. It does well enough. I've gone through so many things over the years, so many tools, so many computers, so many hard drives, so many videos I have made over the years. Gone through so much stuff. But it's time to break this table down, move it to the side so that I can have more room on my floor to put boxes so I can continue to pack what I can before closing day. So when closing day rolls around, it'll be mostly about loading stuff into my truck, into a trailer, and getting it over to the new place and unloading it so I can get things set back up. My eye itched. I usually cut that out, but I can't do that now, can I? I know I pulled some models out to start the giveaway, trying to motivate myself, and I haven't gotten any further with that. But I have not packed the bag. Let me just do this here. Nope, there we go. Come on. I have not packed any of this stuff, and this is the bag of models that I got that I need to do the giveaway. I think that's just an empty box that I was going to use for something. But yeah, there's all kinds of models in there that I was going to use. Hello. Where did the chat go? See, I don't do this often enough. There we go. Good morning, Mary Pate. Welcome to the chat. Wesley Gray, I definitely want to do the giveaway. I want to give everybody a fair chance, but I got to set it up and make announcements and have some way for everybody to enter, and I just haven't done that. And with everything going on, I just haven't had the time. But yeah, I got to figure something out. I want to be fair and give people a chance and not just randomly. I mean, it's going to be random, but I don't want to just How should I put this? I'm going to give everybody a chance. I don't just want to throw up a live video and be like, hey, you get a model. Some kind of Oprah thing. I mean, if I could go, hey, you get a model and you get a model, and I guess I could, but yeah. Anyway, thank you. There we go. Thank you, Wesley. You have a great day as well, and I appreciate it. I will take all the luck I can get because things are ultimately going to go wrong, but I hope they don't. Oh, Mary, I bought a house. You ask, you keep seeing packing, you miss what's going on. I've not talked too much about it until today. I've kind of touched on it, but in a nutshell, I bought a house a few weeks ago. I've been thinking about it. I've been saving money. I've been working on my credit for years now, hoping that, this day would come. I thought a few years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, about buying a house, and I put the idea off, but then I continue to save and continue to work towards it because I'm just really tired of renting. I've had good fortune with landlords in the past, mostly, but some bad fortune here lately. The past almost 3 years that I've lived in this place, this current house, I've had 3 different landlords, and I'm sick of it. So I went ahead and started the process and applied for a mortgage or pre-approval, got more than I thought, started looking at houses, wasn't really expecting to do anything until next summer, wasn't meaning to rush, was just trying to get started early so I could make my mistakes and learn my lessons, and was thinking I'd apply for the mortgage and they'd tell me, well, you need to work on this, that, and the other. And I go, yeah, okay, let me work on this, that, and the other, and I'll try again. No, I done well enough that I got a decent loan amount, and all right, well, let's start shopping for houses, because I also figured I'd shop now, not really intended on buying, but would get an idea of what I wanted. I did this with my car. I've got an 04 Honda Accord, and when I was still waiting to get on disability here in the States, it's a long process, and I worked on that for 3 years and kept getting denied, even though my heart was failing. But when I finally got approved, I knew there was back pay coming for the years that they had put off, and I needed a car. So I started shopping for the car early because I was excited. But during that process, I started off wanting this. I wanted like a hatchback, like a Honda or Toyota. And I started shopping for that, but everything I found, there was issues. And I went for a low price range because I was cheap and stingy. And by the end, I had raised the price range. I had figured out more of what I was looking for, and I ended up with Accord, no hatchback, but it was everything I wanted. I basically learned the lesson of, by shopping early, going for what I thought I wanted, I saw the pros and cons and eventually figured out what I did want. So that when I was ready to buy, I got everything I needed. And I figured I'd do the same thing with a house. I'd start shopping early, see what's out there. It's my first time buying a house. I'd never done this before. I would learn from the process and hopefully in the end get, know what I'm shopping for, know what I'm pros and cons and what to look out for, and learn my lessons along the way. Well, that went a lot faster than I thought, because I stumbled into this one house that I originally didn't like. Like, it had plenty of room and it looked good on paper, but I drove around it and I'm like, there's things I don't like about this house. And the outside, it doesn't look great. The garage is small. I don't think it's what I want. But eventually I asked to see it after seeing several other houses and they just didn't measure up. I went inside this place and there was so much to love about it that I felt like this is where I needed to be. And I am a believer that there's something guiding my life. Without getting religious or talking too much about those sort of things, I really firmly feel that something, whatever you want to call it, guides me in my life, whether I like it or not. And there's been so many instances I can point back to and say, yeah, this didn't go the way I wanted it to or way I planned it, but it went the way it needed to be. And I started to realize that's what's going on now. I didn't really want to buy a house till next year, but something pushed me to get this mortgage, get the pre-approval. I got it. I thought I'd look at houses for the fun of it for now, and I stumbled into something that was near perfect. It's not everything, because I don't expect to find everything, but so much of it is perfect for what I need that the next thing I knew, I made an offer and it got approved and the process has started. So, yeah, that was a really long way to say I'm buying a house, but I'm buying a house. But with me, everything with me, there's a story. So I apologize. I'm a storyteller because everything with me is a story, and that's just kind of the way it is. But I'm buying a house. It's my first time. I'm a first-time home buyer. I haven't talked much about it because I didn't know for sure it would go through, and I still have my doubts. But I got the pre-approval, not the pre-approval. I got the clear to close Friday, which means everything is in order. The loan is approved. They approved it for the house. You know, if you ever bought a house before, at least here in the States, you probably already know what I'm talking about. The fact that they've said you're clear to close means we go forward. We get the lawyer involved. We get the closing agent involved. We set a date, and this becomes a done deal. Closing date is the 4th of October, which is a week and a day away. And I am fighting to get as much as I can packed so that closing day I can start moving. I can put in my 30-day notice to the landlord and get the heck out, because honestly I don't trust my current landlord. I think he is a bit of a money grabber, and a nice guy to your face, but will do you dirty. Like he'll only do what he needs to do. How do I explain that? He knows his limits, and I'll put it to you this way: the neighbor, he also owns the neighbor's house, and while the neighbor probably wasn't doing what they should have done, probably wasn't paying rent, they kind of half vanished, half took off. I don't know the situation. One day a notice got put up, no trespassing, sheriff order, so they got more or less evicted. They didn't get everything out of the house, and he showed up with some help one day, threw all the furniture out in the front yard that was left in the house, came back the next morning with a trailer, busted up nice wooden chest of drawers that I would have offered him money for, busted it to pieces and threw the remains in the trailer. Now, maybe there's a reason for this, but it looked a bit spiteful and a bit ugly and unnecessary. And it's got me worried that this dude, once I put in my notice, is going to be like, if you don't get out by the end of the month, I'm going to get locked out, and what's left's going to get thrown to the curb and busted up. So, yeah, I'm a little scared of that. I got a lot of stuff that I've worked hard over the years to accumulate. You know, a lot of video stuff for my videos, studio stuff, a lot of tools, because I am a very hands-on person, work on my own vehicles. And yeah, just that's got me worried. I definitely want to put in my notice and get the heck out as fast as possible before something goes awry, because I don't trust this guy. So yeah, trying to get as much done ahead of time and get everything packed, while all at the same time applied for a new position at work, and I'm doing a transfer into a new position. There's a lot going on there. Training next week. I'm going from third shift to first shift. You know, trying to get everything together for a house, get packed, get pre-approval, get clear to close. It's just been a lot going on, and I haven't had time to do any research for video stuff at all. And I, again, apologize for that. I've said that several times in this video. But I'm down in the studio. I'd already done a lot of packing. I made some TikToks about my packing, which I've got videos on how I pack. And you'll see, if you've seen that video, you'll see some similar boxes with some new boxes. So many of these things are just layers of models with cutout pieces of cardboard glued in to separate them. And I even reused some boxes from previous move that I actually used my own videos to look to see what I packed in the spaces and repacked them the same way and then added to. And I did that some time back. And now I'm basically almost finalizing what's in the bag. I've packed so much stuff around. I'm going to give you a quick tour of my weird little basement. If you're a Patreon and you've seen my behind the scenes video, you've seen some of this. This is my studio area. I had it kind of blocked off with furniture, my computer desk, got that buffet table with the stands or shelves on it that turn sideways, so I have room for boxes. My build table, I had several things lined up over there. At one point, my 3D printer, and I just had like a sectioned off area that I did my studio work. Soft lights, I've got lights hanging from the ceiling to light up my background. And yeah, that was my studio. Over here was storage area, which I could actually get to different shelves and store stuff, and was mostly organized. Now it's a stack of boxes, and the shelves have been broken down, taped, tagged, whatever together with the pipes inside. I've got even more outside in the shed. And then the other way, towards the back, here's my winter tires, which are probably going to get put on in a month or so. Got washing machine area, but I also have this area back here, which is full of tools. And what you see are boxes now, because I have been bringing boxes home from work and I have more to pack. But this area used to have woodworking tools in it, though it was too cramped for me to actually use. So that stuff is, a lot of stuff has been packed in boxes. I still have my table saw, but the sides are pulled apart and stacked on top, and it's loose from its stand, so I can easily carry it out in pieces from my basement. There's other stuff that I never set up that I just kind of moved away from this area. Yeah, I've been busy packing, and I've still got more to go. If you go back over here, you can see my router table. Down here is part of my drill press sitting on the floor. The other part of it's over here somewhere. I can't remember where. No, there it is, buried down there. So yeah, there's an extension table for my table saw that I really want to redo. Like, this board is particle board. I don't like it, but I want to take the framing off of it and get an actual board, at least plywood, something better than particle board. But I've been wanting to do that for years and I haven't done it. There's the stands for my soft lights, buried under some tissue paper. The actual lights themselves are folded in a box. Bulbs are back in their box. But I'm breaking all this down and eventually spinning around here, breaking this table down, because then I'll have more area to stack boxes. And I've got boxes in my bedroom and my dining room that if they came down here, I could pack more. And I need to get the boxes out of the way of the furniture that I'm going to need to move when I have help. But I still have my computer set up so that if I do have a video that I have time to make and edit, I still have my camera out. But all of my building tools have been packed. Just packed them an hour or two ago. So will not be building anything. I do have a review video that I never finished, and I'm sad about that. I'm sorry, there's so many lights in the background. It's just going to be a mess here. I built the space shuttle and I did the build videos for that, but I never did the review. And I could just sit down and try to read off of my notes, but I do like to include some pictures of what I'm talking about. And that doesn't mean I have the time with everything else going on. My priorities is getting my stuff moved and packed. So yeah, sorry. I have rambled on for over 30 minutes about nothing, I feel like. And I still got more work to do. Yeah. And I got to report to work tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. It's going to be a little bit of a shock to start training in my new department. I got a week of that. And then I'm guessing Sunday, my understanding is Sunday, I will get a final tour of the house to make sure nothing's changed, to make sure they're moved out, to just see that everything's okay. And then Monday I should be meeting to actually sign all the paperwork, and I will guess I'll be a homeowner then. It still hasn't sunk in that that's real. And I've kind of touched on this before. For somebody who spent 18 years in heart failure, got a heart transplant, and then spent 2.5 years in kidney failure, recovered from that, you know, 15, 20-ish years, somewhere around 15, 20 years of disability. Started when I was 22 years old. I'm 40 something now. To go through all of that and to come back working full time, supporting myself on my own income, saving enough money to be able to buy a house. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself for that. And this is exciting, and it hasn't sunk in how real it is yet. So, yeah. I probably should shut up and get back to work. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. I basically wanted to do a quick update. I didn't want to pull out the big camera and have to mess around with the computer because I wanted to get back to work. And I only have so much room on my phone. It's part of the reason I'm doing a live video. I just hit live, start talking. Anybody who shows up, thank you for showing up. I'll answer your questions, but eventually this gets processed and will show up, my understanding, on my channel. And all the people who miss the live video will at least be able to tune in and see what's going on with me, what's going on with the channel. I haven't given up on it yet. I'm just going through another move, and I really hope this is the last one. I'm going to do whatever I can to make this the last one and actually put down roots and keep on keeping on. I don't know where I've heard that before, but I feel like it's appropriate here. I should just keep on keeping on and start building models again because I miss it. I miss it. I miss a lot of things. I miss tinkering. I love tinkering. I love messing with stuff, fixing stuff, building stuff. It's exciting. It's exciting. Anyhow, I got to go check on my 3D printer because my inventory's been running out, and I got to replenish that. I need something to eat. Yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I see people are going away. I don't blame you. I rattle a lot. I really should start my own podcast. I could just talk myself to death. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for still being there despite my lack of videos. A happy building to those who are still putting stuff together. And as always, keep on keeping on.